So OTC trading of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency really emanated from the local Bitcoins types website, right? And recently you hear local Bitcoins isn't doing cash transactions, and somehow that absolves them from what they're doing, but it doesn't, right? Now, like, you have sites like Paxful, which register as a money service business, which is smart, but it doesn't necessarily cover the people who are trading, right? So at the end of the day, if you're actively engaged in over-the-counter Bitcoin trading or any cryptocurrency, but let's stick with Bitcoin for purposes of today, you are an exchanger of cryptocurrency, right? FinCEN regulation, exchanger. And as I've detailed here before, there's administrators, like sponsors of cryptocurrency, there's exchangers of cryptocurrency, and users, people who use cryptocurrency to buy and sell things. Exchangers are always required to register as money service businesses. That's just across the board. So being in any way actively engaged as an OTC Bitcoin trader really requires you to register as an MSB, okay? And there's no threshold in terms of how much trading volume or anything like that you must have or not have to trigger that requirement to register as an MSB. It just doesn't matter, right? In theory, if you did 20 $10 deals, you're acting as an unregistered money service business, right? By the black letter law, that's what's happening. And, again, you see this, and there's cases popping up, and most recently the Powers case, which was a civil case that FinCEN brought against an OTC trader who had facilitated some $5 million in over-the-counter trades and was an unregistered money service business. And he should never have been that. And I would argue that if you're on local Bitcoins, whether you're taking cash or not, you need to register as a money service business, right? Because these regulations are there for a reason, and FinCEN's recent pronouncements and the Powers case suggest that enforcement's going to increase, right? And again, there's no threshold, right? Even your small players on a local Bitcoins or Paxful, they still have the same requirements. And obviously, as an MSB, you trigger the Bank Secrecy Act regulations concerning having a comprehensive AML program, having an audit program, KYC, filing SARs, filing STRs, things of that nature, which you kind of should be doing anyway. You should be doing anyway for OFAC compliance, right? To make sure you know who you're dealing with and you know where those people are in the world, because there's some countries you simply cannot transact with. But to the extent that you have an AML program, it's really not that difficult to administer, right? The SARs and STRs can be difficult, but those typically revolve around cash transactions, right? So if you're not in the physical cash transaction game, you're really not going to find many instances where you're filing or having to file suspicious activity or suspicious transaction reports, right? And also, irrespective of whether or not you are a money service business, if you accept $10,000 cash for anything, the IRS has its own requirement, Form 8300, that you have to file, right? So it doesn't necessarily get around any sort of reporting requirement or create any extra requirement in most Bitcoin cash transaction cases. But from an OTC perspective, especially in light of the Powers case, MSB registration is an absolute must. It's an absolute must. So, that's my advice to anybody. I would definitely, if you're engaged at any level with any sort of volume, right? Obviously, you can go argue that, hey, there's not, no one's going to come after me because I'm a small player. Well, that doesn't matter, right? There's no monetary numbers put to this. So definitely check me out. Hit me up with any questions. at Tracy Firm, TRACY firm.com. Happy to answer anything that you throw my way. Talk to you.